So, what's up people and welcome to the Chapter 77 discussion of Kaiju number 8 or Kaiju 8号. So Chapter 77 came out about 10 days ago, and as always I will leave a link to this chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, I will go take a look at it before they pull this chapter back. Okay, so Chapter 77 was an interesting chapter. There really wasn't much that went on in this chapter with regards to plot advancement. However, I did find this chapter very enjoyable because this is one of those chapters where the author tells the readers just how badass the adversaries are that are about to go into battle. And if you recall in Chapter 76, these adversaries or S-class kaijus came out at the end of 76. And there was one kaiju per JDF battalion. And so Chapter 77 starts off with that, and one of the most notable monsters of the group was the one that came out in the area where Kikoru Shinomiya was. And in Chapter 77, we see this badass moment from this particular monster when it immediately takes out 6 JDF soldiers like fodder. I guess these are the red suit type equivalent from Star Trek for these soldiers, and they were taken out in an instant. And so this act basically was brought out to show just how strong the adversaries were, and just what Kikoru Shinomiya was up against. But whatever the case, it seems to have some very strong desire to battle Kikoru Shinomiya. And I'm not sure exactly why that is the case. But whatever the reason, it has set its targets on Kikoru. And one of the objectives of Chapter 77 was, of course, to have one of those key conversations that happens during the beginning of a battle. That is often the clash of wits before the actual battle begins that you often see in a lot of manga. But in any case, with the discussion, there seems to be this growing aggression between this monster number 15, and Kikoru. And the one key point that we do get in this particular chapter is the comment that Commander Narumi gives. Now, if you recall in the previous chapters, many of the initial attack monsters went to key locations such as the Senate building in Japan or the airport, so that it looked like they were strategically attacking places that will create vulnerability later on if destroyed. And so, of course, the JDF responded by sending its battalions to take out these monsters. Well, what Commander Narumi is saying is with the appearance of these really powerful monsters, it seems that that wasn't the objective for monster number 9. It was basically a decoy to bring the JDF battalions, each one, to each one of these locations. By doing so, it splits the forces, and as a result, each one of these forces is far weaker than when they were together. And since a key member of the JDF unit is in each of these groups, when they are separated, Monster number 9's plan seems to be to bring in such high-powered monsters that each one of these fighters will have a hard time with their battle. And in fact, the expectation is that they will lose the battle. But of course, this is manga. And manga tends to create a situation where if everything becomes very much against the protagonist somehow gets a tremendous amount of power-up and unexpectedly is able to take out the monster. And we're already starting to see a little bit of that when Kikoru Shinomiya gets so fed up with monster number 15 that she releases her full power, that is 87% of the battlesuit, which was something the JDF never saw before, and they're astonished at just how efficient Kikoru has become in utilizing her suit. And the end of the chapter shows that she will most likely be the first of the JDF soldiers to take on her adversary. So we will probably get a very action-packed chapter in Chapter 78. And there may be a possibility that eventually monster number 8 will come out as well, because the division that is taking care of one of these S-class monsters does not have a corresponding really powerful soldier. During the initial attack, their monsters were destroyed by the extended attack that Mina did with her railgun. And so since Mina is now going after her own monster, this one division may be underpowered to be able to take on their S-class adversary. And conveniently enough, it is the group where Kafka is, and so there may be a possibility that monster number 8 will be coming out in the near future. But it is something to look forward to in the future, and once the next chapter comes out, I'll bring out another video, and I hope you join me at that time. But this is the Chapter 77 discussion of Kaiju Hachiko. If you saw it, what you think about it, if you could leave any comments in the comment section below, I'd appreciate it. And until the next episode, happy manga reading, and as always, Jaya, nice day everyone.